welcome back. You join me on a beautiful April morning. It's probably the nicest day we've had so far this year, to be honest. Been unseasonably cool to start, and as a result of that, I'm actually looking, I think, at the latest start to my season ever. We're now approaching the end of April, and I'm still yet to put a carp on the bank, if you can believe it. But you join me at a new spot that I'm just sort of experimenting with this year. I have a feeling it might hold some very big fish. So I am going to stick it out here and do a couple of sessions. Proper urban spot. And it ticks off all the boxes for what would be considered an ideal spring carp fishing location, at least in my criteria. I did have to add a few more boxes, mind you, with everything that's happening in the world. I needed to make sure that this spot that I was fishing was a place where I could practice social distancing. Now, as you can probably see behind me, the grade is quite treacherous, and so I don't believe I will have anybody walking down on me to breathe moistly on me, as Mr. Trudeau would say. And above me is pretty much the closest somebody can get to me, and that's a good 15 feet away. So I feel quite confident that where I'm fishing today, I can practice social distancing and it's ethical. But additionally, it checks off all of those boxes for what I consider to be an ideal carp fishing location for spring. Beside me here is a creek that leads out into a bay, out to a rather fast-flowing river at this time. We are on the Trent, where I am, I will not say. But the Trent is bleeding all of the snow and ice water right down to the St. Lawrence, well, Lake Ontario into the St. Lawrence. So where I'm fishing is actually the warmest spot I could probably choose in this entire area. The creek is 2 feet deep, up to maybe about 3 feet deep. So it's going to heat up very quickly, especially with a hot sun like today. And the bay in front of me is obviously quite still. There is a bit of a back eddy. Every so often we will see the water churn around. My line will kind of sway side to side. But for the most part, it's a great deal slower moving than the center of that river. So I think a lot of fish may have come into this bay and maybe sunning themselves. They could be anywhere in this bay right now, but I have put in a bit of a pre-baiting effort. So I'm hoping that most of them have sort of congregated in front of me. There are big catfish in this section as well, which could pose a bit of a problem, a bit of a bycatch, bit of a nuisance fish. But I am confident that the rig that I'm running today, if one should pop by, will indeed hook a carp. Got the withy pool out there, NS1 pop-up, and I've got a method mix, and that's pretty much all I'm running. You know, I'm going to be casting out the method to the same location over and over. I don't want to put in too much more food offerings. I want it to be that this is that first warm day. If they do turn onto the feed, I don't want there to be too many offerings out there. So fingers crossed. I don't think it's going to happen for a couple of hours yet. I actually anticipate that it won't be until about the time I'm planning to leave. You know, I probably have that one just before in that crucial last hour. But you have to be out here, and what a beautiful day, even if I do blink. So stay tuned. coming to the end of the session now, and I can't say I'm overly surprised by the lack of activity. I did see some bubbling over my spot here when the wind died down and I had a nice flat, and I think that's more just oxygen release, perhaps some nymphs and hatchings happening. But if it had been fish feeding, I think it would have been a little bit more voracious, and I think I would have had some more indications on my alarm. And I did see what I think was a red horse crashing just a few yards ahead of me here. You know, if it was a carp, it was a very small carp, so I think it's more likely the suckers, they're usually the first to run these areas anyway. But, I mean, we need a few more days like today, I think, before the conditions really turn optimal. It's been an unprecedentedly cold April, so I might have to just suck it up and accept that my first carp come in May this year. Oh, hurts to say it. But I think I'm going to keep coming back to this spot. I think it has a lot of potential, and I can see it producing a decent day when all the conditions are right. But until next time, tight lines. Here's hoping that we get one the next time.